Hi, Black Hollywood Live fans. Today on Justice is Served, we're talking about the rash of celebrity robberies, not celebrities committing robberies, but robberies against celebrities, just to clear that up. The Trump travel ban 2.0, how constitutional is that? And a Georgia couple is sentenced for terroristic threats. That and more on Justice is Served. Stay with us.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Justice is served.
Hello and welcome to a beautiful March 8th edition of Justice is Served. Thanks for joining me. My name is Chelsea Galicia. I am joined by a full panel of attorneys here. We've got Domonique Price, Yemi, Abayomi, and Shaka Smith. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into the rundown, shall we? Because I packed it pretty tight.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. And just in case this is your first time joining us, this is where we cover the latest in legal news each and every week. It's as though you were listening in to a group of attorneys just having a conversation about what's in the news. You get to eavesdrop in on purpose. Alrighty, so there's a rash of celebrity robberies in LA, and everybody's wondering why this is. This is like the Kim Kardashian effect of you put your bling out there and now the robbers are coming a-crawling, or what's going on in LA that's responsible for this rash?
Well, they're saying it's attributed to, I guess, in LA we have these prison populations overcrowding, and they're attributing it to letting out some of these non-violent offenders, some of whom commit burglaries.
Yeah.
I was confused by that. I was like, okay, so do we know for a fact that these are repeat offenders? Have you caught them? Because as far as I've been reading, you haven't caught almost any of these burglars in these last like 4 or 5 cases. And so I'm like, are we just guessing here?
That's and on top of that, it seems like a lot of these celebrities are not locking their doors because they feel that they live in safe neighborhoods.
Well, who doesn't lock their door? I can answer that question. I don't know how to pronounce this Dodger star's name. Yasel
Puig.
Thank you. He doesn't lock his doors. Alanis Morissette, Cesar Millan, and Derek Fisher. Those are the latest celebrities to be found out to not lock their doors.
It was always really funny to me that first year of torts where we really discuss what it means to break into a home, and you would think like you'd actually have to like jimmy the door or bust a window, but just entering into the home is considered breaking if you weren't invited in by the homeowner or an invitee guest. And so I thought this was really funny that they really wanted to call out the fact that, well, the celebs are technically making it really easy. Regardless of how easy I make it, it's still my home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, but I would rather take the extra caution and turn the lock rather than lose $200,000 worth of jewelry.
$2 million.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Cost-benefit analysis.
Yeah.
So I'm really bummed about this because I personally supported Prop 47, which was the law about letting people out early if they were nonviolent. Some of especially the drug offenses, some of them got reduced from felonies to misdemeanors, and some of these people were robbers. And if they're out now committing these robberies, it's kind of like, dang it, I had faith in you. But I mean,
but I don't think we really know that's what's happening.
But that
we don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're kind of just linking.
Yeah,
they're kind of linking 2 facts together that may or may not actually correlate. And so I think it'll be interesting once they actually catch some of these individuals to see if they actually are repeat offenders or brand new to the heist game.
I mean, the unfortunate thing is that this isn't just like a rash against celebrities. Overall, property and even violent crime is up in LA. Not a ton, but significantly. Yeah. And they're asserting that it's because of our now new lenience to letting people out early. So, I mean, did we make a mistake in letting people out early, or you think that this is still worth it if it's proven that, yes, this increase in crime is attributable to Prop 47?
Well, we're letting people out early due to overcrowding, so what then is the solution?
Make more jails?
Exactly in the short term, private prisons, is that where this is coming from? I don't know.
and you have to think, is this one of those arguments that's kind of bolstering that argument that we do need more privatized prisons?
Especially since there was actual no causal link. And so it seemed really premature to even have this article out. It seemed like it was more of a policy-driven article than anything else. But
we peeped the bull crap.
See. Yeah. Okay, and then this one was kind of a fun one. Have you ever been, I don't know if accused or told you look like a celebrity? And then tried to capitalize on that? Who have you been told that you look like?
A few, but I attribute to a lot of times just that people think that people look alike.
I'll
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so now, and Shaka,
I've not
Yemi?
been, no.
Not too many, just,
Not too many.
one here or there.
Okay, so if somebody confused you for celebrity and you were able to use that to, say, get into a club,
I think
is that kosher?
I think getting into a club and actually being hired to impersonate this person at an event are two totally separate
Well,
things.
not necessarily though, because
Yeah.
once you get into the club, the club might decide to tweet out that so and so is there, or they might try to.
no.
Or they.
No. Yeah, that takes it to
I
another
rescind my
level.
agreement with you. Never mind.
No, I'm just saying that, but there is a material, there's a link. They might use that to further, get more people in. Or
Well, because I think there are two different things here. It's one, if a club owner says, hey, come on, Chris Brown, come into the club. And I never confirm or deny if I'm Chris
Well,
Brown.
if you enter the
As
club,
opposed to me
no.
going to the club and saying, hi, I am Chris Brown, let me in for free with free drinks. And you can publicize this
There-
in order to get the free
Well, I
drinks.
think we should back up for a quick
Yeah,
second
yeah.
and let the listeners in on where this came from.
Yeah.
So do you guys all remember Sisqo of Thong Song fame?
How could we forget?
I don't know that we'll ever forget.
I know. When even your mom is singing along, you know
Right.
that a song is never going to
It was
die.
infectious. It was infectious.
Yeah.
Fire.
It was a
So
horrible
he is threatening to sue a guy who has impersonated him and has been able to benefit by getting into clubs and also inviting to perform at a bat mitzvah. And so the question is, we've got to balance, right, an individual's ability to express themselves, and if you look like somebody and you can sing like somebody, on one hand you have free expression rights, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, a celebrity has the right to protect their name and likeness, publicity rights, that kind of thing. So where is the balance struck if you're like Sisqo and being like, man, this guy is making bank and I am still just living off of Thong Song royalties?
Well,
I'd
So
like
I
to
think
capitalize on
those are
this
two.
more.
So I think those are two different things.
Yeah.
One, me kind of trading off my luck in that I kind of look like someone and getting into a club and kind of getting preferential seating. That is. I don't see that.
Doesn't
I
cross
don't
the
think
legal
that
line.
leads
I agree,
to
1000%.
legal culpability. When I now start booking. Booking bat mitzvahs as
an
you,
issue.
and I think even if I were to book a performance as an impersonator, I still think that's fine. I think the problem comes when you book something and you're actually pretending to be that person, leading to confusion and misleading people. That's when I think there's a commercial line.
Well,
Right.
Well, first I'll state in this case, I'd throw it out completely because this makes Sisqo way more popular than he was. So if anything, he just benefited hugely. So for him in particular, this case is call it a win. But I think when you
I hope they bring that up in court.
yeah, by the way.
What was your real damage here?
Yeah.
You
That's
weren't going to
actually-
Fashion Week either way.
Yeah.
That's a good question
Yeah.
about damages.
No,
Yeah.
but in the event that he does book something where he pretends to be Sisqo,
That's a different
and does like a bad performance or
You're
does something-
diminishing my name.
But-
Now, I agree with you 1,000%, and that brought me to the Robin Williams issue,
Yeah.
where this person actually was saying that he was Robin Williams and was, going to capitalize on his name for an event. I think that's horribly wrong.
There's a difference only in magnitude for me. So yeah, so obviously one is greater than the other, but it's still the same. You're still pretending to be that person, and if the person is in fact famous, there's so many things, especially now, that are dependent upon the fact that you have a famous person at an event.
Yeah.
And so there's financial incentives, like with the club example. They might tweet out that so and so is here now because you've walked in the club and
Right.
confirmed by walking in that you're that
No,
person.
you haven't confirmed anything by walking in.
once I say you're Chris Brown, you may-
They've made a mistake that
no.
you didn't correct.
And that's on them.
We know if you were in the grocery store line and they mistakenly give you more food than you realized that you should get, and you walk out with that food knowing that it was not your thing, you are still responsible for theft.
I've always thought that was gray area.
No, but that's
Always
a bright line. I
gray.
mean, so we know that somehow you get extra berries, but you see the extra berries going into your cart, and you go, okay, this is great, extra berries, and they catch you outside. You're still gonna be.
We're not talking about theft. Well, first things first, we're not talking about theft.
This is theft of likeness, of course.
It is.
I can see that
Absolutely.
correlation.
Appropriation of a person's.
So now it's the same thing.
So you're
that you're not
well,
the
that's
person.
not. Well, that first off, that isn't theft of a person's likeness, because then that's to say
Same
that
thing.
anyone on Hollywood Boulevard is is then
but
culpable of that?
No, because they are representing the public. They are impersonators.
That's where we
Right, because
Yeah.
Beyonce's
and
not going to be on the
Beyonce's
corner of
not.
Sunset.
that's where we disagree.
They make it
I don't think by walking into the club I'm saying I am Sisqo.
If the club owner says, "Sisqo, it's you. Walk on in." The minute you decide to
So you're
undertake the
saying
walk,
now,
you confirmed you're Sisqo.
okay, so lying is now
so-
against the law, is what you're saying basically.
When that
because
line involves
because
misappropriation of
because
likeness.
Because no,
Oh,
I'm who
be
I am.
careful.
Sip my water.
No, I'm who I am.
Yeah.
You think I look like someone. You've asked me, oh, are you Chris Brown? I said, yeah. I've now lied, and now because of that, anything that happens therefrom, so the club now tweets a picture of me at the club. Because of my lie, I'm now...
Chris Brown can now sue you for misappropriation
I'm
of
going
his
to take it to
likeness.
another
I don't
level
think
and
so.
tell you this.
I don't think. I think until
can't get a word in edgewise.
until I gain commercially from my taking of your likeness, whether it's that I am, pretending to endorse a product, whether I'm booking shows, whatever the case is, I think that's when I've misappropriated your likeness.
For
But
a
to the
retort,
extent
what
that
are you
I
going to
did-
say?
I was just going to say, if you guys remember that show a few years back where they had a show where they were showing people who seemingly looked like but had legal names as the same as a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
And so it even argues, if I've legally changed my name to Michael Jackson the third, and someone mistakes me for Michael Jackson, am I wrong? Because I'm technically Michael Jackson.
If you know or should know that they're making a mistake and you're gaining from that mistake in any material way, and when you go into the club that you could not have otherwise entered, then yes.
I think it's a gray
any
area.
way, gaining in any. I mean, I think that's a little bit broad.
If the club,
So if
if the
I'm
club
ga-
has a cover, $20, but because they think you're so and so, and you don't pay the cover and you get in,
But Sisqo didn't lose $20 in that transaction.
He actually didn't lose much of
Well,
anything.
well, you don't know what this guy said to other people in the audience. You don't know who he
We don't
related
know.
himself to.
I can't wait to see
what
this
bridges he
being thrown
burned.
out.
So this might have been, Sisqo might have lost business because this guy
This
said
is
and
true.
did things to people and they believed it was him.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
So,
I think I'm on
Oh,
with Shaka on
I
this
think
one.
Sisqo is going to prevail here.
Well, looking at previous cases, I definitely think he will prevail.
Yeah, of course.
But I think in the grand scheme of things, you really have to look at the fact that no one has talked or heard about Sisqo in probably 50 years. So it's like I just don't really see the damage.
He may have hired this guy himself. I don't know.
I think with respect to booking the bat mitzvah, maybe there's an issue there.
And I do agree. He
But
should
I
have to
think to
return
the
that
extent
money.
that he got into the club free, I don't really
The fashion
see.
show?
Now, if he was introduced as a Sisqo impersonator,
Which he
I don't
wasn't.
think, which he wasn't, I don't feel like you should have to return the money if you are identified as an impersonator.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
True.
But yeah, I think in this case it was clear this guy was trying to
Right.
pretend to be.
So people, let's not get crazy and think that you can't hire Barney for your niece or nephew.
Do you know when I was little, my parents hired a Michael Jackson instead of a
Yes.
clown? I freaked out. I really thought it was Michael Jackson.
But yeah, I mean, as Domonique said, you can be an impersonator. That in and of itself doesn't create
course,
liability.
yeah.
The question is whether people know that you are an impersonator or
Yeah.
whether you're trying to mislead
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
deceive. Are you doing something defamatory towards the person, saying something false, putting them in a bad light?
All right.
I think we live in an area of gray.
This lively debate makes me kind of hungry. Anybody else? Makes me feel like ordering some Blue Apron, having it ready to go, and I want to cook up a meal.
Meals at home and you can make it yourself. It's great.
I love it. I did it, and I had such a fun time making stuff with my roommate. Apparently, this is good for families. Not that I have ever cooked with my family, but it made my relationship with my roommate all the much stronger.
that's
And
awesome.
it was pretty freaking delicious.
Yeah, you can actually pick if you want to do it for 2, 4, or 6 people.
I've got to get on this Blue Apron train because I hear they don't really repeat meals too much.
No, for like months, almost
That's
a
awesome.
year. And I'm all for not having the same meal.
And I was a
Yeah.
little worried that if they use fresh ingredients, how do I is this going to come to me wilted and stuff? But
Yeah.
nothing ever came to me at all, even close to it. And if it was, I know that they would take care of it. They make that pretty obvious left and right.
Yeah, and
on
it's
all their
really
materials.
awesome because they try to get ingredients that are all local. So
Yeah.
you're helping out your community.
Yeah.
And let's see, how else are we helping the world?
There's a discount.
Oh
I
yeah.
always like to save a little
Ooh,
coin.
let's start daydreaming about some of these. A salmon piccata with orzo and broccoli. I like it. I like it. Oh, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
I would think that something like this was maybe I don't know, $20, $25 a person, like what you'd get at a restaurant, even though you are cooking it yourself, which actually is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's got to be foolproof, basically foolproof, because no kitchen skills,
Yeah, you're saying
no
you were
kitchen
cooking
experience.
stuff you would never normally even think of getting. Like.
No. Did I tell you about the time when I looked at the menu item or the list and I'm like, I didn't even recognize some of these ingredients. Like I had to Google what a shallot was because I didn't even know. So if somebody like me can put something together and not kill myself or even have it taste bad, then I have faith that most anybody can do this. And it's affordable. It's like less than $10 a person. Yeah, for each meal. And it was really easy. It took a little time, like 40 minutes, but
I think that's the average time to cook a full meal.
Yeah.
And plus it's customizable. So like if you're vegan or a vegetarian or gluten-free, like you can put it in there to make sure that it fits your dietary
They can
restrictions.
take care of me. Great.
Right? It's easier than me going to the grocery store.
So hopefully we've got your mouth watering by now and you want to check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/justice. Again, blueapron.com/justice. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/justice.
Blue Apron.
A better way to cook. Oh, you're getting on that right now?
Justice.
All right.
Order next week.
That's probably going to be more fun ordering that than talking about Trump's latest travel ban. Your neck is like, don't make me talk about this. I was, we knew it was coming, and I was all excited Monday morning to see what kind of crazy concoction of an executive order this was. And first glance, it looks very similar to the last one.
But it's a lot better.
It's a lot better.
I mean, this one will
Still
definitely.
horrible.
I think this one will pass legal muster.
Woo,
Yeah.
Sadly.
Really?
He changed just enough. He did just because what I thought the new one would not pass legal muster just because what really sank the old one was all the talk around it. So we knew that they were really doing a Muslim ban because they had said so. But this one, with dropping Iraq from it, which really making sure the green card holders were not affected, anyone who had been issued a visa were not affected. I think they did enough to pull it away from more of a we're also concerned about the security of the country and not just the whole Muslim issue.
How do you think taking Iraq off the list of the banned countries helped it pass constitutionally or made a difference to that analysis?
Well, it made it less Muslim focused, and they said they did so because Iraq showed of their enhanced security screenings. So it made it about security. Oh, because they were able to show us that they had enhanced security screenings, not because about Muslims or Christians or whatever. That is the reason we took them off the list. So they make it more of a security focus.
But I would counter and say that I would like for them to be able to show that they've given that same opportunity to each of the countries that are on the list. If they can prove that they've upped their security, I feel like they should be able to, at least like on a review process, be able to be pulled from the list.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but from what I heard, Iraq lobbied very hard to get off the list.
Yeah,
so I don't know if other countries tried or they just were like, well, we'll just not have your people come in, but yeah.
I don't know. I still think, at the root of this, it's pretty clear that this was intended to be a Muslim ban, and you can't do that, even though the Constitution gives the president broad authorities when it comes to immigration. But there's a section that says the president has broad authorities to keep aliens out, but if it's for terrorist reasons, he's got to make it individual to a person and not just entire countries. So I think it's better, and it's obvious that the authors of the order, which were clearly lawyers because it read like a
They
legal
finally
brief.
went to the DOJ
Finally.
and got some approvals.
He didn't write this himself in the bathroom.
This one really tried to address the issues that were raised by the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah, I love that they really took time to really listen to each one of the points that were made and tried to address them in this new.
And remember, when he said Muslim ban, he always said a Muslim ban for the security of the country. So he just really had to remove that Muslim part, and I think they did it effectively enough that this will stand.
Yikes. I still, I think it's
We're not saying that we're in support of it.
Oh, yeah, I
we're
don't
just saying
support
that
it.
from a
I
legal.
think-
I just want to pause for a
Yeah,
second.
right.
From
No,
a
you
legal
guys
perspective,
I think
very
it passes muster, but we don't agree.
enthusiastic.
I am still, I still like, I think this one has a better chance,
Yeah.
but I still don't think that ultimately, because we know it's just a better decorated version of crap.
Yes, they put lipstick on a pig.
But I think they still actually had a concern about security. There was a concern.
So
there was
if
a
you're
valid concern for
concerned about security, first of all, look at the countries left off the list. Those have been more threatening to us than countries on the list. So that's one thing that doesn't make sense to me.
But remember, these countries were identified by the Obama administration as very dangerous countries. So it's not like they made up this random group. They did take it for the previous administration, and now they removed one because one showed that they had better security screenings. So now it just seems a lot more focused on the apparatus of security rather than a group of people.
And
Right, but I'm still uncomfortable with it being country specific. I really feel like it should be on an individual basis. I feel like regardless of what country you're from, you could still be a really great person. Like that's just like saying all
not so
people
sure.
from the South are racist. Like that's very broad statement to make. And so that's where I find it uneasy to get myself around. Like I want our country to be safe. I want us to be careful with who we let in and out of the country. But I want it to be on an individual basis. Like don't judge me for every black woman out there.
And that's the area where I think, there's the strongest argument where that it is very, very broad. It's not limited. And yes, what is the exact correlation between these 6 countries and the propensity for danger?
I mean, we know that
I think that's something
statistically
they're really going to need to establish.
But I think having taken from the previous administration at least gets them off the hook in that sense.
No, it doesn't. because.
Well, now it's not tied to their thinking.
You still have to,
But this was not.
I think you still
was
have
this
to
an exclusive list like other countries like Saudi Arabia and whatever, where more of the 9/11 terrorists actually came from?
Yeah, from
they
the-
were excluded, or these countries were identified
As the most
to the exclusion of the others.
These countries were identified by the Obama administration as the most dangerous countries from which terrorists could spring.
I don't know that that's
But
exactly right.
that's
I don't think that's what those
exactly what
countries were.
happened.
That's not what
They were doing a study on terrorists, and it was in
Not
the full study.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he does a really good job.
I thought it was actually more so a study of visa issues.
Well, it was kind of like hand in hand, like visa issues and people that have a propensity to commit terrorist acts.
That's pretty great list to draw from, right?
But to me, I feel like that wasn't their
was the Obama
aim
administration.
in the research, if that makes sense.
For the Obama administration?
They were doing more of like, okay, somebody asked a question, let's get a little bit more information, and there still needed to be more research on top of what was gathered, from my understanding. So I feel like they picked up with a shaky research paper, draft one, and they're using it as a final.
But once
if that makes sense. I need a few more citations.
But once the Obama administration identifies those countries and came to that conclusion, it wasn't
No,
like
but I
it
think
wasn't
she's saying there was not a conclusion.
No, there was. Factually, there was.
A preliminary conclusion.
I thought it was a preliminary conclusion.
Even if it was a preliminary conclusion, because it came from that administration, you can divorce it from this idea of excluding Muslims from the country. So it wasn't like they identified those countries in order to exclude Muslims, because they were already identified by another administration who believed didn't have that aim. So given
and
the
so
fact
you don't think it could just be like a low-hanging fruit, like, oh, okay, here, and then
of course it was a low-hanging fruit, but that coupled now with getting a rock off the thing because of the security concerns, I believe it does put it in the clear. And then obviously exempting the green card holders and the people that issued the visas.
Okay.
Very interesting conversation.
The ACLU is still planning to.
Oh yeah,
to
they're
sue
up in
them.
arms.
It's a ban until we have enhanced security measures. It's not a lifetime.
But can we
because we don't
but my
have
thing is like,
enhanced
is there
security
going to be a
measures.
timeline in there? Like we throw stuff out there and never put a review process on there. Like what does that look like? Do we have a plan and process to strengthen our security? Because clearly Iraq did.
But that's what the ban is for. So it's not a lifetime ban. Never. So when we talk about looking at people individually, that's what we're planning to do. We're making sure that our enhanced security measures are able to catch everyone individually.
I know when I read it, I didn't see a date.
Yeah. But
I need a date. I need a timeline. Like, is this in 10
There
years?
were like 120 days.
Yeah, I
and things
believe
like
it
that.
was in the first bit.
I missed that
travel,
piece.
but yeah.
It was long. I missed
The
that
only
piece.
one that was indefinite in the first version was
Yeah.
Syria.
the ban on Syrian
Right.
refugees.
Which I think is rude.
Yeah.
You can't tell me I can never come.
I think
It's not
I
justice
think-
is served, it's rudeness is served. Okay,
I think the
let's,
breath is going to be an issue. That said, I think that weighed against kind of a president's
They have
great
a lot-
latitude
broad
is going to
powers,
be.
yeah.
may be tough, but I think the breadth.
So which way do you think it's going to go? Think it'll pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. I think it needs to be narrow. I think it's way too
Narrow.
broad.
I have a random question for you guys. So I was reading more about this whole Trump and Obama wiretapping issue and how
Oh,
everyone's saying
my
there's
God.
absolutely no evidence to the fact.
Yeah.
So do we feel like because Trump is very like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, let's throw the book at you because you're wrong. So do we feel like Obama has a case against Trump for like slander?
I mean,
Isn't
we,
there?
but let's go
what is
straight to
it?
the damages. What would the damages be?
What is
Well, there's
what
a-
is
there's
the-
an exact-
Well, he may have
immunity?
gotten more on that book deal.
Presidential immunity. You know, there's a
I know,
yeah.
I'm joking, but the whole thing was a
I
joke.
mean,
But I'm
absent-
just upset at
It's a good
his like.
question.
But
The lies.
Well, absent the executive immunity, he certainly would. But you know,
Let's see if he keeps it up. We'll get him in 4 years.
so
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the Supreme Court deciding not to decide a major case in terms of transgender
Yeah.
rights. So, 17-year-old boy wanted to use the
Boys'
boy
bathroom.
facilities at his high school, and his high school said, "No, we need you to use the private bathroom in the nurse's office," which, to me, doesn't feel like it's that off. But let's.
Well, it reminded me of
but-
Hidden Figures, and I wanted to know how far
I
it
haven't
got.
seen
Yeah.
Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
No spoilers, please.
But so in this case, this case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we were thinking that we might hear the Supreme Court's decision on whether discrimination against sex is precluded by the Constitution and Title IX, and that whether or not that also includes gender identity.
Yeah.
And womp womp, we won't find out anytime soon. The Supreme Court kicked it back down to the lower courts because, and this is the part that really irks me, because of the guidance that the Obama administration had put out was rescinded by Trump.
yeah.
The guidance said, please let people use the bathroom that matches what they feel that they are.
Yeah.
And that schools will be subject to federal
Scrutiny or
They can get money pulled.
they might.
Yeah.
if it's found that they're discriminating on students based on their sexual identity.
So then Trump just recently rescinded that. And
He's on a path.
And of course, the Fourth Circuit decision was based, in fact, on the guidance and the fact that the Education Department had made some guidance there. And so now that that's rescinded, their basis for letting it stand no longer exists. So the Supreme Court said now you have to go review this on
Actually,
some
the
other.
issues,
Yeah.
the legal
Yeah.
and constitutional grounds.
So everyone was punting for essentially.
yeah. And I was expecting to be like, what, this is wrong? And then I looked at this and tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm totally open to it. But if the school had said, you were born a girl, you must use the girl facilities, then I see
An issue.
an issue. But you were born a girl, you feel that you're a boy, that's fine. We're going to have you use a private bathroom.
So discriminatory. Extremely. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, either
everyone's
way.
gonna know that you get up and you go right when everyone else goes left. I think in high school or whatever school, there's that intense scrutiny that you feel that people are always watching, and then people probably actually are watching.
No,
you.
I think they are in
Yeah.
high school.
I mean, so is the solution that we now have a boys' facility, a girls' facility, a facility for girls that feel like boys, and a
Or you have a
facility
boy facility,
I
a
think we
girl
have a
facility,
neutral
and the way you identify is the one you use.
Have you
Simple.
guys
I
ever been
feel-
to one of those bathrooms where it's like the
family bathrooms.
Well,
yeah.
it's not a family bathroom. It's like has like all the stalls, but men and women can go in because each one has like a door
I think I
shut
saw
and they
that, like-
share like a
Yeah.
sink.
Like at
They have it
YouTube
at, like,
space,
They
yeah.
have them at like different restaurants and
Yeah.
some of the hip places. To me, I feel like that's maybe where we go.
I mean, this didn't come up for me in high school at all. Did it? Did you
Well,
guys
that's one of the
No.
things that I was wondering about when I was reading this, reading about these issues, just how, I guess, prevalent, it's becoming, because I don't remember there being transgender
Well, I went to school with
individuals
I went
in
to
our
school with a
school and it being-
transgender individual, and interestingly enough, I think she owned so much who she was that she never let things like that like get to her. She didn't have a problem having to shower like in a separate shower. They were very accommodating even then, and that was like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I went to school, but I
But
didn't
she
know
still,
about what bathroom they
used
I
the
didn't-
men's bathroom, and
Yeah.
I always thought that was really interesting. But she actually thought it was kind of sexy that she
I think it
got to
puts-
use the men's bathroom.
I just think it puts schools in a very, very
Being honest,
tough,
she was very.
a very tough position because you do have these states who are imposing these laws that say no, women and men's bathrooms must be separate. And even in Title IX, it says no discrimination based on sex, except for locker rooms, bathing facilities, bathrooms. And so you have schools that are trying to follow, I guess, the state guidance, but then at the same time they're subject to these lawsuits.
It's confusing.
And they're not getting guidance from the court.
And lawsuits
telling
from
them
both
which
sides.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally, anytime I'm at the club, I use the men's bathroom.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're one of those.
I'm one of those. And I apologize the whole way in, but I just don't feel like I should have to wait.
I think it's interesting because there are a number of cities, Austin, Berkeley, Seattle, where they've said that any place where you have a single restroom, that single restroom must be unisex, basically. But how does that apply to schools? You can't have just one, single restroom.
And I don't know what they mean by gender identity, because do they mean that I identify with a certain, like if I identified as female but presented this exact same way, is it okay for me to go use the female bathroom?
If so, I would not be comfortable with you in the locker room, and that's the only reason why I kind of like, I don't mind them telling you need to go into the private bathroom.
Does it mean you have to have the surgery? Does it mean
but these
someone's
kids are
checking
too young.
Right, or what people identify with me on my outer appearance.
Yeah. So and what's the line? Like, is it you wore a skirt today, so today you can use the bathroom, but today you wore jeans, so you look more like a guy. So I don't understand those issues and how they tackle them.
And this is why the middle ground of asking you, in this case, to use a private bathroom in the nurse's office is a good solution.
I think it's a good medium temporary solution. But
and that happens to be
I would have been more offended if they told
office.
him that he had to use the women's bathroom. I'd be very offended. But I feel like they're trying to figure something out in a very murky water. And you're also dealing with children.
Yeah.
They may not understand what exactly is going on. That's a confusing state. Although
he's
high
gotta
school
now
students
go
are way more
explain.
advanced, but
And he'd have to go explain to everyone that saw him go use a special bathroom why he's it just puts
it's a lot.
It is.
So
kudos to
You're
the
right, but I
education
still-
system
yeah.
right now.
I mean, I
That's
don't know
not
what-
how you do it.
I don't know what the solution is. I think you
Kudos
should be able to use a
education.
bathroom that conforms with your, but maybe just have single
I
stall.
say use
but-
whatever bathroom you want to.
Yeah.
But
If you're a child.
But I know
Again,
that
adults, I have a whole
if
nother
I was
conversation.
16 and
Yeah.
a boy was coming into the locker room,
Or if I'm a parent and I have like a 14-year-old daughter and and the guy he looks like me
exactly.
but he says I'm female, I don't know if I trust you.
I don't know.
I don't
So I
think it's
understand
as
those
easy
issues,
as
but
do
it's
what
just
you please.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to this Georgia couple that was sentenced. We have some video here to show you, but let me introduce it first. This couple was part of a group of like 15 people, most of members of a group called Respect the Flag, that paraded with big trucks in front of. They were going around town with the Confederate flags.
Right to free speech, good. Okay.
Confederate
Yeah.
flags, you're still good with that, right? And then they specifically were yelling and taunting and even took a shotgun and pointed it at people at a kid's birthday party.
Yeah, and apparently like the guy said he could shoot everyone there. Then I think the girl said, and the little ones can get it too, And these are
Crazy.
children, yeah.
Really?
Like a bouncy house is there. What
Could
do you
you
do on a
imagine?
bouncy
Believable.
house? Yeah.
Like seriously, picture for a second you're at your child or your niece or nephew's birthday party, and this scene happens. Like that is frightening.
Yeah.
And so all of them were arrested, and well, as far as I know, all of them were arrested, and most all of them pled out and got 2 to 4 years in prison. But one couple took this whole thing.
Well, 'cause I think
I'm
they
sure
had
they tried.
I think it's because they had the shotgun.
Yeah, they actually had weapons. I think
So
she had a
they
knife
were-
or something.
They were prosecuted under like street gang laws
Yeah.
and terroristic threats and the whole deal, and convicted. And then they were sentenced earlier this week, and the video from that is pretty emotional.
And the guy
so let's
got
watch
20
that.
years, right?
But he'll only
Oh,
serve 13.
And she got what? Something
She
like
got 15, but will only serve 6.
which is like a long time in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah. All right, let's. This is Kayla Ray Norton. She's the person who did say those words to these people.
It's so it's just like
And still, that victim went on to say, "I forgive you.
Yeah.
I forgive you."
I threw up my hands at that point.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. I'm not that. I'm not there yet in life.
Right.
Well, in that moment, I could see how she could forgive. 'Cause she seemed so genuinely remorseful.
Who?
The
Kayla.
Kayla seemed.
You think she was genuinely remorseful?
She seemed genuinely remorseful.
No, she was sad about having to go to jail for 6 years.
And she may have been.
That
but
was what she was upset about. She wasn't upset about what she did.
She says, I've taken responsibility. What I did was wrong. But
Wait,
then she
are we
says,
not allowing that people can realize the error of their ways?
But she said, I would never do that, but you did.
well, she said, I would never go up to you. I would never walk up to you in the street and say those things. But that doesn't mean anything.
But if you're on the other side of me, other side of a fence, and you have a gun and you're threatening me, that is a problem. Regardless of if you would come to my face and say the same thing. I don't know you from Adam, and you have a gun, and there are children around. I think I may have forgiven her or had a little bit more leniency if these were adults. But these are children. Children that probably had nightmares. Children that probably are now afraid of white people.
And then and there were some white children at the party that now have to be explained about race, even though they didn't even see race.
Here's the thing. This was not just like, oh, I was bored and decided to go on a Confederate flag joyride. The investigators looked into this couple's Facebook. And they had a long history of KKK affiliation and white supremacy. So this wasn't, just a bad day. And so for her to stand up there and say, this is not me, this is not who I am, I was kind of like, well, isn't it?
Well, the only thought I had about this whole "it's not me" is I'm like, okay, you're young. Maybe you got caught up.
Isn't she 29? How old is she? She's 29.
I thought she was 25.
25.
She's a mother. She's a mother.
You're a mother?
You're dating someone and...
Wait, why are we... I'm sorry. Can someone explain to me why we're making excuses for these people?
I'm not making...
I'm trying to figure out this
And the guy was also crying, sobbing.
Appeared equally remorseful. What I'm saying is sometimes... I would think we would want to allow for the possibility that they could be somewhat remorseful. Not saying to reduce their jail time.
You can be remorseful in 5 years.
But, okay,
they should still serve the prison sentence.
But at least they didn't say, this wasn't us, so please reduce our sentence.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to play it that way.
This was them apologizing.
Yeah.
So I just thought, maybe justice is served. They got a prison sentence,
well,
and maybe their hearts are starting to change.
Their hearts are not. I don't believe their hearts are changing.
Maybe slightly, ever so slightly.
I would hope so. And you know who also said, I know justice was served? The host of the party, Melissa Alford. Yeah. So this is really tragic, but we have a few more stories, but I have been just told we have been cut off. That was the last story, so we'll have to bring the rest of it to you next week. Crazy stuff going on in Baltimore, and we hope that you'll come back next week and join us for another episode of Justice is Served. In the meantime, likes and comments, and can tweet at me, at Chelsea Galicia. Go down the line.
Domonique P_ESQ.
I'm at Yemi on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.